Greetings, everyone. DFG here. Hey, guys, just want to take a minute and share some thoughts and some commentary around the monuments and what's going on with the monuments around the country. Give a compare and contrast on some other things that we should look at if you're looking at monuments. And then I want to talk about judgment because we're in that time, guys. You know, it doesn't take a rocket science, as the saying goes, to tell that something strange has come amongst the planet. Something extremely strange. Something that anyone, that's 20, or let's just say 40 years old and older, would have never thought that we would ever see happen. We never thought we would see a time such as the time that we're seeing now. And I'm sure you've heard people say it. I've heard many people say it too. Like, it's unbelievable. The whole globe shutting down. A pandemic. Filling yourselves off. Quarantining people all over the planet and coming up with different agencies and different laws that they're about to enact to racially profile people. Et cetera, et cetera. I guess I shouldn't say laws of racial profile. We've been having those, I guess, since we had vagrancy laws and Jim Crow laws and obviously segregation laws. So, I digress in that regard. But let's take it back to the monuments, my friends. When you look at those monuments, it's something I want you to think about because it's something that came to me around, why all of a sudden everyone is so eager to take down these monuments. I mean, for years and years and years, we couldn't get them to take down a damn Confederate flag in Mississippi. And now they're willing to knock Jefferson Davis, your Confederate presidency head, off of his statue's ass. But for years, they wouldn't even touch a flag in a lot of these southern states. And now, all of a sudden, everybody, including the Mississippi, the state I'm referencing, is taking down the Confederate flag. Why? Why? Well, here's something that I'm considering as to why. Our eyes have been opened. Yah, in these days, he said knowledge would increase. Daniel, chapter 12. But see, not only have our eyes have been opened, their eyes are open as well. Not that they were ever totally shut. They knew who these men were. They called these men their forefathers, although when you start telling them about reparations, they don't want to have any association with these forefathers. So they're their forefathers and their heroes for making America what it became. But as soon as you start talking about recompense, then, I have nothing to do with that. You got something to do with them, but you got nothing to do with you have nothing to do with the things they did. Interesting. Very interesting. Almost, I guess the appropriate word would be very hypocritical. But again, look at the monuments. Here's something I want you to consider. My family, my friends, Hebrew Israelite. Here's what I want you to consider. Let's just say if I went out and I committed a serious crime. And before the investigators could come, I got my brothers to come out and clean up the crime scene. And it was later found out that crime scene was clean and they can't get evidence. So now it's going to be a situation where they can't do their jobs properly because they have no record of evidence to be able to come and not only accuse but convict me of committing that serious crime. Well, when you look at these statues of these criminals, most of them were criminals, at least in terms of their behavior. They were legal criminals. They had created a government, an institution that allowed them to sell people, to murder people, to steal from people, taking the land from the people without compensation from the people, selling people. What else? Feeding babies to alligators to catch gators. Gator bait, down in Florida and South Carolina, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Some of these pedophiles like Franklin, known pedophile and murderer. Andrew Jackson, slaughtering more Native Americans than you would ever imagine. Vicious man. Jefferson, all these guys. Washington, Lee, You know what I'm saying? Leading the charge to keep the particular institution intact. You know, Jefferson Davis again. The white racist who represented the presidency of the South. Abraham Lincoln, who said he didn't give a damn whether or not you freed the slaves or didn't free the slaves. If he could save the Union, it would not matter to him. And by the way, for you guys who think that Lincoln was this great emancipator, I want you to remember something. All the southern states that stayed loyal to the Union kept their slaves. He did not, and again I repeat, he did not free the slaves in any states that did not secede from the Union. So 2 years after his so-called proclamation or emancipating of slaves in a part of the country that was no longer following his laws, they had separated themselves. They called themselves the Confederate States. He passed a law it's like President Trump trying to pass a law in Canada right now. It's not going to work. He passed the Emancipation Proclamation was only inactivated in the states that had seceded from the Union. If you had stayed in the Union, Lincoln allowed those states to keep their slaves. Just so you know. A little history there for you. Okay? So, but his attitude was, I don't give a damn one way or the other. I just want to preserve this Union. I don't want to lose the country. At least I don't want to be the president that destroyed the United States of America. That's all his ass was thinking about. But anyway, when you take down these monuments, it's almost like cleaning up the crime scene. Because see, now that everybody's eyes have been open, to what these monuments represent, of course, many Americans want to tear them down now. Because now they have to look at their guilty forefathers every time they walk by those monuments, or they're out there standing and visiting parks and court buildings and other places these monuments are standing. They know that if anybody sees them looking, people are gonna associate them with white bigotry and racism. And if you happen to be black, coonery and buffoonery, ignorance. So of course they want to clean up the crime scene. Of course they want to tear it down. So when their kids grow up, they don't have to know the evidence of what their forefathers did. So what do I say? Let them stand. But if you just got to get rid of them because, they shouldn't be here, we shouldn't see faces of evil men and men who've done much wickedness to defenseless people throughout the history of this country. If we're going to be destroying them, well then can we go visit some other guys? Can we go visit George Washington? Can we go visit Thomas Jefferson? Can we go visit, again, Abraham Lincoln? Can we go visit Alexander Hamilton? Can we go visit Ulysses S. Grant, maniac, lunatic, mass murderer, drunkard? Okay? Can we go back and visit I said Ulysses Grant. And then Ben Franklin. Oh, and I forgot. Our good friend Alexander Hamilton. Can we go back and visit those guys? Who are those guys? We know the names. But since we're tearing down memorials of all these wicked men, let us at least not forget that George Washington is on the $1 bill. Thomas Jefferson is on the $2 bill. Abraham Lincoln is on the $5 bill. Alexander Hamilton is on the $10 bill. Andrew Jackson is on the $20 bill. Ulysses S. Grant is on the $50 bill. And our good, discovered electricity lie, Benjamin Franklin, the pedophile, wicked, sex maniac, the $50 bill. So let's go get rid of those $50 bills. Let's get rid of all that money too. Let's go burn the money. Let's just, wait, Tom. I got carried away. You can send the money to me. If you don't want that wicked currency, just send that to I'll take it. Okay, don't burn the money up, all right? P.O. Box 12345, make it up. I'm teasing you. But I'm not. Funny, but not funny. So when you start looking at this eagerness to take down these memorials by Caucasians, you need to also think that these people are always playing some angle. They're just cunning. Yeshua called them the children of Satan. Not Not all of you guys. Some of you guys try very, very hard to be decent and good people, and I know that. But you don't hold your brothers and sisters and your friends and your neighbors accountable, so that kind of make you guilty by association. I digress. But these deceivers would love to erase that part of the history, to get rid of the evidence. So now when you come up on them and you want to talk about, honoring these the wicked men of the past, we threw down, we got rid of that. We got rid of that. No, let the crime scene stay as it is, as a reminder of who their ancestors are and were, who they are, whose children they are. Let them deal with that while they're trying to figure out ways not to give us reparations. Let them deal with that. That's my humble opinion about it. Maybe not so humble, but something surely to think about. Now all of a sudden you want to get rid of the crime scene. Why? Because our eyes are now open to it. Now everybody's looking. And now, your white guilt now you want to hide it. You want to bury it now. At least many of y'all. So-called friends of colored people. But again, just something to think about. Now I want to move a little bit farther in this conversation to the next subject here. And I'm going to give you some information from the book. So Hebrews, men and women, y'all want to stick around. Y'all want to hear this. The rest, they may have seen the title about monument, don't like what I had to say. Y'all need to go. Unless you just choose to stay. You're welcome to listen in. You can hear the secret. Because this is not a well-kept secret anymore. We are the children of the book. Read Revelations 2 and 9. Read the book of Revelations 3 and 9. Daniel, Job, all written through it, all over the book. It's us. Surprise! Surprise, surprise, surprise. As old Garber Powell used to say. It's us. We know it. You're not going to turn it back. You're not going to make us forget. We're not going to walk away from it. You're not going to say we're low-level thinkers like that idiot Max Kellerman said about the brother Deshaun Jackson, who just shared some information. We're not falling for your skullduggery. And who the hell are you anyway, Max Kellerman, or any white person, to tell us what's low and what's high? Seriously, that's your white supremacist arrogance. That you think that you can make a statement to the whole nation of people, of so-called black people. You can, the whole nation call us low-level thinking because we're embracing a truth about who we are. That's well documented. That your ancestors, not only did they masquerade as us, but they tried to hide it from us in the book by painting the pictures and taking certain books away. Mr. Kellerman, just so you know. But when you start looking at accountability for action, things that have happened in the past, especially when we start talking reparations, the first thing you hear them say, I have nothing to do with that. I had nothing to do with, slavery, and I had nothing to do with any of that stuff that happened. So why should I have to pay reparations to them? I don't know, because Yah says so. That's why. Because you're sure, you white Christians, that you say you love God, as using your word, you love Yahweh. Well, Yahweh says so. That's why. So I guess you're going to argue with him at your judgment when he takes the breath out of your body and you go before him. I guess you're going to argue with him and call him a liar. I suspect that's what you're going to do. Because he says so. He says so. But let me give you, my Hebrew Israelite brothers, let me give you something. And again, anyone who else want to listen in, go to the book of 1 Samuel. I'm going to read chapter 15. I'm going to try to get through it pretty fast, guys. Just one chapter. But there's some meat in here that I want you to see. Because we're in the days of judgment. Judgment is happening around the world as judgment is happening here in these so-called United States of America, Turtle Island. Judgment is happening. We see it. We feel it. You think this is bad? Wait till the fall and wintertime come. When people have gone crazy with all this social distancing, face covered up. Nobody, all you can see is people's eyes. Everybody's stepping away from each other. Nobody's communicating. Nobody's socializing. Nobody's allowing their stress to be released in healthy ways. And these suicide and maniacs and these racist bigots start rampaging, running crazy, purging, etc. You haven't seen anything yet. And it's coming. And you heard me say it. It is coming. But Yah has a role in this. Yah has something to say about this. And I think it's important that we listen to what he has to say in terms of what happens when generational things happen. What is a generational curse? Surely we know what it is. Another 40 years of slavery was ours. That's coming to an end. Praise Yah. But let's see what Yahweh has to say about generational curses. Let's see if Yahweh says the children's children are guilty of the actions of their forefathers. You Christians. Let's see what the book has to say. Since you believe in the book, you believe the word of Yah. You ought to. You profess to be one of his. Okay? He said, my sheep hear my voice. In other words, they ain't going to disobey it. They're going to follow it. If you love me, keep my commandments, right? So let's see what your command. Let's see what a command looks like. Okay, this is King Saul, the king that preceded David, the first king of Israel. Samuel would be the high priest or the high prophet. He would be the man that Yah would talk to lead the people spiritually, to guide the Hebrews, to keep them on the right path, and more or less be the voice of Yah. That's now we got it in writing. They had them in person. Okay. Samuel also said to Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus said the Lord of hosts, I remember which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now he's talking about what Amalek did to Israel. He's talking about when Moses led the people out of Egypt, the Amalekites attacked the people. Now Saul that he's talking to, this is 400 years after that, approximately. Between Moses and King David, which was the right. David is alive, by the way. He just haven't been given the throne yet. That's 400 years. So here is Samuel telling Saul that Yahweh has remembered a debt that's owed. That happened 400 years before. And he's telling Saul to take his people and go do what? To these people that he's going to go and visit who had nothing to do with what their forefathers said. So you say. Right, yes, so you say. You say you have no responsibility for what your forefathers did. Well, let's see what the Most High has to say about it. Thus said the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel. He remembered it. They thought we had forgotten, like these people thought we had forgotten. They tried to make us forget with lies and whitewash history. But Yah allowed us, Yah has brought it back forward. The 400 years is up. Now knowledge has increased. The truth is going to be revealed, and justice is about to happen. What the Lord said of hosts, I remembered which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and kill Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have and spare them not. This is what Yah saying about the West. This is what Yah is saying right now. Destroyed your economy, destroying your markets, destroying your comfortable lifestyles, destroying all of your entertainment, all your outlets. And soon, if you don't repent and do what's right by his people, reparations, he's going to kill you and your children. Come on, don't go. Come on, let's go farther. He said, now go and kill Amalek and destroy utterly all that they have and spare them not. This is a whole nation of people. But slay both man, in other words, kill the men and the women and the infants and the sucklings, all right? The ox, the sheep, the cattle, and the ass, A-S-S. In other words, he said kill everything. Don't spare nobody. Don't spare no babies. Don't pay no babies nursing, no little kids, no women, no men. Kill all of them. Everything. Why? What did these people do? What did they do? This happened 400 years ago. That's what they're telling us, right? That was 40 years ago. None of y'all were slaves, although we still living in a repressed society that because of the denial of ancestral wealth has caused us to be economically on the lowest 1/10 of wealth to the average white person. Average white household, with a single over 100,000+, black something like $1,200. Family 1.2 million, black families $20-something thousand. This is because of general wealth that was denied us, but that was afforded you from these people you claim you benefited nothing from. So when things got passed down from one generation, not only wealth that passed, laws and rules that put you in the best position to take advantage of things, and those same laws and rules denied my ancestors those same access to those things that you claim you didn't gain anything from. Now, by now, you should already be saying, you know what? I think I need to go back and reconsider the way I'm thinking. Maybe it's time for me to get a refreshing or renewing of my mind. At least that's what you ought to be thinking. But, Satan don't change very easily. At least the wicked amongst us doesn't change very easily. A righteous man will repent and change. But the wicked, as Daniel said, they just going to keep on doing wicked. As knowledge increase, he says, the wise will understand, but the wicked ones, they're going to just keep on doing wickedly. I suspect many of the people who hear this video, who are non-Hebrew Israelites, who are against us being compensated for the wickedness, I guess they're going to let Yah come in and deal with it. Well, this is how Yah deals with it, just so you know. So all of you guys are waiting for this all to end and things to get better, don't hold your breath. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them. Okay. Then Saul came to the city of Amalek, and he laid wait in the valley. And Saul said to the Kenites, go depart and get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. For you showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. And then Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah until thou comest to shore that is over against Egypt. He's wiped them out. Now, he kept the king and some things because he got a little greedy and lustful things. But everything else he was instructed to do, he did. And again, this was 400 years later. This was 400 years after what their ancestors had done. They were held accountable. Just like America is going to get held accountable for what your ancestors have done. And you can deny it and say you didn't have anything to do with it all you want. That's your own self-righteousness. Thus says Yah, I will remember. I remember what your forefathers did to my people, Israel. Us, the Hebrew Israelite, us, Israel. He said, I remember what you did to them. Now I'm going to come and I'm going to judge you for it. Because many of you are sitting there fixing your mouth to say you got nothing to do with it and nothing should be done about it. Who cares? Not my problem. Well, Yah is about to make it your problem. And for the people of Yah, all I can tell you is sit back and get ready for the ride of your life. At least you who have come into and accepted who you are. But for you other wicked ones who are still in these hellhole dens called churches and worshiping, these idols in these churches, things made of wood and brick and concrete, still praying the candles, things like that, he's going to take your wicked ass and he's going to destroy you right along with the rest of them. Yah hates idolatry. He hates it. Now let me bring this thing back in. So you just read, and I read to you again. It's in your Bible, 1 Samuel chapter 15, all the way up to verse 8. It's a good story. Saul was obedient, the people were, and he ended up losing his kingdom later on because he didn't kill everybody. Saul decided to keep the best of the best. See, that's not the way. See, some of these people think I'm going to escape. They're going to go off and get on these islands, and they're going to go far away places, go to Antarctica, go underground down there, wherever the hell they're hiding at over there, what they got hiding over there. They think they're going to be safe over there. No, brother. No. He knows where you are. You can't hide from Yah. He's going to go right there and bury them in them caves that they ran into, underground. They're deep underground military bases. They named it right, dumb and stupid. Acronym. Dumb. Deep underground military bases. DUMB. But let me bring this thing to a close. So he's going to judge. He's not going to forget. And how ironic, 400 years later, It's when he remembered, and it was time for justice, because at that particular time, he had already dealt with his people. His people had been under all kind of oppression, constantly on the run, constantly getting whipped out by the heathens, enslaved, freed, and then finally it was time for recompense. It was time for judgment. And he said, first one I want you to go get is these one who, when my people were in bondage and my people needed help, they destroyed them, and they murdered them. They made these mothers motherless. Now you go back, and I'm going to do the same thing to their children, times 40 generations. I'm sorry, times 10 generations. Now let me close it. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. Just to show you how Yah operates. And so you Gentiles, you so-called white people, Caucasians, Asians, and others, those of you who are standing on the sideline and feeling like you don't have a dog in the fight. Well, you may not have a dog in a reparation fight, but you're going to get bit by the Most High because you stood on the side and did nothing. So you might not have a dog in a fight, but when them dogs break loose, they're going to come bite you right in the ass. And the ass, I just read it in the scriptures, so don't tell me about no cussing. You just heard me read it. Ass, it's nothing but what they call a donkey or a mule. Okay? It makes you feel better. A mule, you're acting like a mule then. Stubborn. Sorry. Love you guys too, by the way. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35. This is what the Lord says. This is what he's saying. This is what he said to Moses. For the Lord, he said, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. In other words, it's only a matter of time for them to come back and get them. In this case now, 400 years. In that case then, 400 years. He said, I'm going to come back and get them in due time. For the days of their calamity is at hand. The day of their destruction is at hand. Now is the time. We all are seeing it. That's what he's saying right here. I'm going to come back. I'm not going to forget. I'm going to deal with them in time. And when that time's come, they're going to know it. The day of calamity is at hand. And the things that shall come upon them, I'm going to make it happen quick. Look what's all happened in 2020. It seems like it's been 5 years and it hadn't even been 6 months, or just turning to the 7th month, July. Look at what happened. You really could cancel out January. Just go from February to now, 6 months. Think that's not haste? And look at all the things that these so-called medical experts who claim that it's going to get a hell of a lot worse by the winter. But I suspect that people are unhealthy because their respiratory system has been compromised. Their organs have been compromised because of some behavior they practice. I guess they are going to be pretty damn sick. And many of them probably are going to die. Going through all this heat, compromising your respiratory system, nose bleeding, people fainting, falling out all over the place. Oh yeah, it's happening. Because they can't get enough oxygen. Oh yeah, it's gonna be bloody. And that's including, because you know these biggest among us getting there ready, and they're ready for one incident to go off on a race war. But Yah is not going to let them get too far with that. Yes, some of us probably not going to make it. There's no question about that. But before they wipe us out, the righteous among us, Yah is not going to let them touch a hair on our head. You can believe that. But that's those who, first of all, have come into the knowledge of the truth of who you are, so you can properly worship Yah in spirit and in truth, so that you might be saved from the damnation to come. Or you can stay out there with the heathen and keep on doing what they trained your forefathers to do, practice and become pagan worship, idolatrous worshipers. You can keep that up too. Your decision, your choice. I don't judge you. Y'all gonna judge you. I'm just bringing forth the truth to you. Your decision at the end of the day. But I know what I'm gonna do. I've done it already. Long ago came out of that mess. But I didn't put down the word. I didn't put down my history book. This is life. I'm going to be judged out of this. So are you. And so will them. But they're going to get judged real soon. They're not even going to make it. They're not even going to make it to the throne. They're going to be cast right out in the hell with Satan and the false prophet. And, they're going to be cast out right. They ain't even going before the Most High. The Most High is not going to let that filth come before him. That wickedness. But for us who go before the Most High, He's going to separate the sheep from the goat among us. The ones who hearken and the ones who are bullheaded and refuse the truth, even though Yah brought that truth to you in the terms of who you are as His people, so He can unite you as a people, so He can lead us as one. You goats who refuse to do it. But for the rest of us, we'll be all right. Protect yourself. Store up goods. You know what I'm saying? Food, rice, medical things, ammunition, weaponry. You follow? Build communities, communes. Everything that you're gonna need. Water, sanitation things. Y'all know. We know the drill. Try to get out of these major populated areas where there's more of them than you, if you can. But anyway, that's what the book says. So for you folk now who want to tear down the monuments, I'm just letting you know, for us anyway, we know what you're up to. And for us, I'm saying, why let them clean up the scene of the crime? Let the crime stay right there with us. So every time they see those statues, those monuments, they can feel the wickedness of the ancestors now that it's been revealed that these were wicked men and women. Why take it down? Let it stay there. Again, because hell, if you're gonna stick the faces of those beasts in your pocket, you might as well let them stay up, in the streets, in the public sites or the parks where they are. At least that's my opinion. But we all have a mind of our own. At the end of the day, we all got to answer for ourselves at the end. So, but again, let me end this thing, again where I started. It's judgment time, guys. And Yah, for those who don't want to give us reparations, you refuse to do it, and you know your ancestors were part of all this wickedness and this murder and killing, mass incarceration that you see going on right now, the killing of our men and women, the hostility towards our people in the judicial system, all these things, the economic, imbalance, although Yah say you're supposed to deal with a just scale, and you still have no issue in correcting any of that, and reparations will go a long ways to fixing that, and you still won't do it, but you want us to tear down your guilt. You want to wipe out your evidence of the wickedness of your forefathers? I ain't tearing down nothing. Let them stand. I lived them statues all this time. I'm sure I can live with those statues a little bit longer, and so can you, my Hebrew Israelite sisters and brothers. Yah's going to remember, just like the scriptures just said, it took him 40 years to get Amalekite for what he had done to us, to our ancestors. And it's taken him 4 more years to get hold to them for what their ancestors. I'm talking about right now, if they don't do what's right, and they most likely won't. But that don't mean Yah's not going to come and get them and judge them for it. And just like he told Saul, wipe all of them out. Yah, no respect of person. He said, I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. I am the Lord Yah. I change not. If he did it to one, he's going to do it to the others. That you can believe. He's not a hypocrite. Not a man that he should lie. Or son of man where he should repent. But anyway, I'll end it. Again, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35. To me belongeth vengeance.